Welcome back, Coinology. Imagine holding a small piece of history in your hand, a coin that seems unassuming at first glance, yet carries with it decades of American culture, monetary history, and potential wealth beyond imagination. The 1-cent coin of 1988, often simply called the 1988 penny, is one of those coins. At just 1 cent in face value, it might be easy to overlook, but for collectors, historians, and investors in numismatics, it represents a fascinating intersection of design, metallurgy, and the stories of countless transactions over the years. The 1988 penny belongs to the Lincoln Cents series, a lineage of coins that has been in continuous production since 1909, originally minted to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It carries on a tradition of American artistry and national symbolism, while also serving as a mirror reflecting the economic, cultural, and technological landscape of its time. The 1988 Lincoln cent was struck in copper-plated zinc, following the change made in 1982 by the United States Mint. Before 1982, pennies were primarily made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that gave them a solid weight and a distinct metallic feel. By 1988, the Mint had fully embraced the copper-plated zinc format, with a core of 97.5% zinc and a thin outer layer of 2.5% copper. This made the coins lighter, measuring just 2.5 grams in weight and 19.05 millimeters in diameter. The change was primarily driven by economics, as the cost of copper had risen sharply, making the previous all-copper pennies more expensive to produce than their face value. Despite being lighter, the coin retained the familiar reddish-brown hue, though over time, the zinc core would sometimes cause them to corrode in a distinct way, producing interesting patinas that collectors often prize. The design of the 1988 penny is quintessentially American and deeply symbolic. On the obverse, or front side, the coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's likeness has been on the penny since 1909, and it stands as one of the longest-running designs in United States coinage history. Brenner's design is notable for its attention to detail, capturing Lincoln's thoughtful expression, deep-set eyes, and the subtle lines of his face that convey both wisdom and resolve. The lettering above the portrait reads Liberty, a single word that encapsulates the nation's ideals, while to the right of Lincoln, the date 1988 marks the year of minting. Just beneath the date, collectors and numismatists often look for the mint mark, a tiny letter indicating which United States Mint facility produced the coin. For 1988 pennies, this could be a D4 Denver or a P4 Philadelphia, though in many cases, no mint mark is present, as the Philadelphia Mint did not always use a P at that time. The mint mark can significantly affect the coin's value, especially when paired with factors like condition and rarity. On the reverse, or tail side, the coin carries the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of reverence, unity, and the enduring legacy of one of America's most cherished presidents. The Lincoln Memorial design was introduced in 1959, replacing the earlier Whittier's reverse. It depicts the Memorial Building in Washington, D.C., in remarkable detail, including the faint outlines of the Lincoln statue seated within. Flanking the memorial are the words United States of America along the upper rim and E pluribus unum just above the memorial's roofline. Below, the denomination is clearly stated as 1 cent, emphasizing the coin's original purpose as small change in everyday commerce. For coin enthusiasts, the intricacies of the memorial design are fascinating because they offer a miniature study of perspective and engraving techniques, especially considering the coin is only 19 millimeters in diameter. Collectors often examine the tiny lines of the columns, the steps leading to the statue, and the lettering for any anomalies or minting errors, which can sometimes turn a common penny into a rare and valuable collectible. The 1988 penny, while not rare in terms of mintage numbers, has a series of interesting features that can make individual coins highly desirable. The United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of these pennies in both Denver and Philadelphia in 1988, making them commonplace in circulation. However, certain coins, especially those with die errors, double strikes, or unusual minting anomalies, can fetch significant sums in the collector market. Some of the most notable varieties include double die obverse, where the lettering or date appears doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process, or off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly aligned on the coin blank. Coins with these errors are highly sought after because they are unpredictable, unique, and visually striking, creating a story for collectors who treasure the unexpected quirks in mass-produced currency. Beyond mint errors, the condition of the coin is paramount in determining value. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to perfect uncirculated, with specific grades such as fine, very fine, extremely fine, and mint state, each representing the level of wear, luster, and visual appeal. A 1988 penny in uncirculated condition, showing no signs of wear and preserving the full detail of Lincoln's portrait and the Lincoln Memorial, can command a premium among collectors, particularly when paired with a rare mint mark or a notable die variation. Even pennies in circulated condition can hold value if they have unusual toning, patina, or other unique characteristics that make them stand out from the millions of other pennies minted that year. The history of the Lincoln Cents series itself adds another layer of fascination. Introduced in 1909, it was the first regular issue coin in the United States to feature a real person, breaking with the tradition of allegorical figures such as Liberty. Lincoln was chosen not only because of the centennial of his birth but also because of his enduring status as a symbol of honesty, perseverance, and the fight for unity in a divided nation. Over the decades, the penny has been a silent witness to countless moments in American history, from the economic turmoil of the Great Depression to the technological leaps of the late 20th century. By the time the 1988 penny rolled off the presses, the United States had experienced enormous changes. The Cold War was nearing its end, personal computing was beginning to reshape everyday life, and the American economy was entering a period of rapid globalization. Each coin, even a seemingly modest 1-cent piece, carries the imprint of its era. The 1988 penny also serves as a reflection of numismatic and investment trends. While some may dismiss pennies as trivial, the market for rare coins has demonstrated that even small denominations can achieve extraordinary values under the right conditions. Historical auctions have seen pennies, including 1988 issues with rare errors or exceptional preservation, sell for amounts far exceeding their face value, sometimes even reaching into six-figure territory for particularly extraordinary specimens. The concept of a coin valued at millions of dollars may seem fantastical, yet it is not unprecedented in the numismatic world. Factors such as scarcity, demand among collectors, historical significance, and condition all interplay to create a dynamic market where a humble penny can become a prized asset. Collectors often seek to understand the subtle differences between pennies minted in different facilities. For the 1988 penny, the Denver Mint coins, marked with a D, are generally more common than Philadelphia coins without a mint mark, although certain batches and production variations can influence scarcity. The differences are not always obvious at first glance, requiring close inspection with magnification, careful comparison of design details, and an understanding of minting processes. The smallest scratch, the tiniest variation in lettering, or a subtle die crack can dramatically affect a coin's collectability. Numismatists often become detectives of metal, piecing together clues from production techniques, wear patterns, and historical records to assess the potential value of a coin. In addition to minting and condition, the story of the coin's circulation adds richness to its narrative. A 1988 penny may have traveled through countless hands, from the cash register of a local diner to the pocket of a child, to a collector's album decades later. When we examine the potential market value of the 1988 1-cent coin, it's essential to understand that while the average circulated penny is worth only its face value of 1 cent, there exists a subset of coins whose rarity, condition, and historical context elevate them to extraordinary levels. In the numismatic world, even seemingly modern coins, like the 1988 Lincoln cent, can command significant attention when anomalies occur during production. These anomalies range from subtle double dies to off-center strikes, die cracks, and lamination errors, and each one transforms a mass-produced coin into a collectible treasure. Consider, for instance, a 1988 penny exhibiting a dramatic doubled die on the obverse. The doubling might make Lincoln's jawline appear wider, the date seem split, or the word Liberty take on a shadow-like appearance. Such coins, while still pennies by denomination, are incredibly rare and highly desirable among collectors, sometimes fetching hundreds or thousands of dollars in auctions. The phenomenon of doubled dies occurs when the master die used to strike the coins receives a misalignment during the hubbing process, essentially imprinting the design twice with a slight offset. While this may sound like a minor technical glitch, the effect can be visually striking, and collectors prize these coins because they are finite and verifiably unique. The 1988 penny has several known doubled die varieties, each catalogued in numismatic references and monitored by grading agencies. Some coins show doubling only on the date, while others display doubling on lettering, which can affect the coin's desirability and ultimately its market value. These errors are meticulously documented, often accompanied by high-resolution photographs in coin guides and auction listings, allowing collectors to authenticate the coin before making a substantial investment. Another factor influencing value is the condition of the coin, assessed through the meticulous grading system employed by professional coin graders. The scale ranges from poor, P1, with significant wear and barely discernible details, to mint state, MS70, which represents a flawless, perfectly struck coin with original luster intact. For the 1988 penny, the majority in circulation fall somewhere in the mid-range, typically very fine VF, to extremely fine XF, displaying normal wear from decades of use. However, uncirculated coins preserved in protective cases or purchased directly from the mint during their release can reach MS65 or higher, offering a pristine glimpse of Brenner's detailed portrait of Lincoln and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. These top-tier coins are the ones that might, under exceptional circumstances, approach six-figure valuations at auction, particularly if combined with a rare mint mark or notable error. Mint marks themselves carry a subtle but meaningful impact on value. The 1988 penny could have been produced in Philadelphia, without a mint mark, or in Denver, with a D mark. Though these distinctions may seem minor, collectors often prefer certain mint origins due to smaller production runs, unique metal compositions, or documented quality differences. For example, a 1988 D penny exhibiting perfect uncirculated condition and a rare die anomaly could theoretically be valued far above a standard Philadelphia-issued coin, simply because fewer coins of that specific type survived in pristine form. Numismatic markets are highly sensitive to these distinctions, and the provenance of a coin, its mint, its circulation history, and even its prior ownership can influence desirability and final sale price. Auction history further illustrates how modern pennies, including 1988 issues, can achieve remarkable valuations. While most sales hover around a few dollars for circulated coins, coins with confirmed errors or exceptional preservation have been known to reach into the thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. Stories abound of collectors discovering extraordinary specimens in rolls of otherwise mundane coins that had been tucked away in drawers, banks, or family collections for decades. In some rare instances, coins have even been reported as part of collections sold for millions, typically when a grouping includes multiple error coins, rare mint varieties, or historically significant releases. These high-end sales, while exceptional, underscore the principle that value in numismatics is as much about rarity and story as it is about the coin's material worth. The 1988 penny is also an intriguing example of the intersection between numismatic collecting and investment strategy. While some investors prefer gold, silver, or other precious metals, rare pennies occupy a unique niche where relatively low initial cost can yield substantial returns if the coin exhibits exceptional traits. Collectors often track the market through auction houses, online platforms, and dealer networks, carefully comparing similar coins and monitoring emerging trends. For instance, an increasing awareness of a rare die error can dramatically spike demand for that coin in a short period, turning what was once a modestly valued coin into a sought-after collectible commanding premium prices. Knowledge, timing, and the ability to authenticate coins accurately are therefore critical components for anyone attempting to capitalize on the potential investment value of modern pennies like the 1988 Lincoln sent beyond investment and rarity. The 1988 penny is a microcosm of American cultural history. By holding a coin minted in 1988, one connects with a specific moment in the late 20th century. The late 1980s were characterized by significant technological advancement, cultural shifts, and economic evolution. The penny circulated in an era when personal computers were beginning to enter homes, video games and pop culture icons were becoming mainstream, and America's economy was undergoing transformations in response to globalization. Each penny, then, becomes a tangible relic of that era, a small piece of history carried in every wallet, cash register, or piggy bank. Collectors often appreciate this historical context, recognizing that a coin's story extends far beyond its metal content or nominal value. In addition to circulation history, the 1988 penny offers a fascinating study of metallurgy and minting technology. The transition to copper-plated zinc was a significant change for the mint, allowing cost savings without drastically altering the coin's appearance. Yet this metal composition introduced new challenges, including susceptibility to corrosion and variations in color over time. Collectors sometimes prize pennies that exhibit unique toning or natural patinas, resulting from decades of exposure to air, moisture, and handling. These visual differences can make two otherwise identical pennies appear dramatically different, and in some cases, the aesthetic appeal of a coin's coloration can significantly influence its market value. The educational and entertainment potential of the 1988 penny is also notable. YouTube videos, blog posts, and numismatic forums frequently explore the coin in depth, explaining to viewers and readers the nuances of minting, design details, and market dynamics. Videos that highlight rare varieties, showcase grading techniques, or narrate stories of extraordinary finds can attract thousands, even millions, of viewers, turning the humble penny into a centerpiece of educational content and collectible excitement. Enthusiasts share images, research, and experiences, contributing to a collective understanding of how these small coins can harbor immense historical and financial significance. Furthermore, the 1988 penny's appeal extends into storytelling about American resilience and ingenuity. Lincoln's portrait is not only an artistic choice but also a symbol of leadership, unity, and moral integrity. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse serves as a reminder of the nation's reverence for democratic ideals and the importance of historical remembrance. For collectors, these symbolic elements add emotional and intellectual value to the coin, enhancing the satisfaction of owning a piece of cultural heritage. It's not simply metal stamped into a circle, it's a bridge connecting modern collectors with the legacy of one of the most pivotal figures in American history. The 1988 penny also illustrates the broader dynamics of supply and demand in coin collecting. With millions minted, the majority of these coins remain in circulation or tucked away in collections without special recognition. However, as coins age, especially those from the late 20th century, the number of specimens in uncirculated condition naturally decreases. To fully understand the remarkable appeal of the 1988 1-cent coin, it is essential to explore the fascinating realm of minting errors and anomalies. Even though millions of pennies were produced that year, small production mistakes during the minting process create unique coins that are extremely rare and highly desirable among collectors. One of the most famous categories is the double die error, which occurs when the die used to strike the coins receives an imperfect impression of the master design, resulting in certain elements appearing doubled. For a 1988 penny, this could manifest as doubling on the date, doubling on the word liberty, or even doubling along Lincoln's profile. Such errors are visually striking because the doubling is often pronounced, creating a shadow effect that is unmistakable when examined under magnification. Doubled die pennies are usually the most valuable type of error for modern Lincoln cents, with collectors often paying hundreds or even thousands of dollars for a single specimen in uncirculated condition. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin blank, also known as a planchet, is not perfectly aligned with the die during the striking process. This can result in coins where part of the design is missing, shifted, or unevenly stretched. Some off-center 1988 pennies reveal only part of Lincoln's portrait or cut off letters on the reverse, creating an unusual and dramatic appearance. The severity of the misalignment directly affects the value of the coin. Minor off-center strikes might attract a modest premium, while extreme examples, where a large portion of the design is missing or distorted, can command very high prices in the collector's market. These coins are particularly fascinating because they are tangible evidence of the mechanical complexity of minting processes and the tiny margin for error that can create extraordinary numismatic treasures. A third notable category is the die crack or die break, where small fissures form on the die used to strike the coin, leaving raised lines or irregularities on the coin's surface. A 1988 penny with a die crack might show a thin raised line across Lincoln's cheek, along the rim, or even extending across the reverse near the Lincoln Memorial. Collectors often find die cracks attractive because they are relatively rare, easy to identify, and add character to the coin. In some cases, coins with prominent die cracks have achieved unexpected attention at auctions, particularly when combined with other desirable traits such as flawless surfaces and strong mint luster. Lamination errors also make 1988 pennies highly interesting. These occur when the thin copper plating separates from the zinc core, either partially or fully, due to imperfections during the bonding process. Lamination errors create coins with peeling or flaking surfaces, sometimes revealing a shiny metallic core underneath. While these errors might seem like defects to the casual observer, collectors often prize them as unique examples of minting anomalies, adding a layer of rarity to otherwise common coins. The unpredictability of lamination errors means that each affected coin is visually distinct, offering a compelling reason for collectors to seek them out. Beyond error coins, grading is the critical factor that can exponentially affect a 1988 penny's market value. Professional coin grading involves assessing the coin's wear, luster, strike quality, and overall visual appeal. The American Numismatic Association, ANA, and professional grading services like PCGS and NGC use a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect coin with no visible flaws. For the 1988 penny, a coin graded MS65 or higher is exceedingly rare due to the high circulation volume and the metal composition of copper-plated zinc, which is prone to scratches, corrosion, and discoloration over time. Coins that achieve these top-tier grades are often sealed in protective holders called slabs, guaranteeing their condition to potential buyers. In the auction world, coins graded MS67 or higher can attract premium prices, especially if they feature a rare mint mark or a well-documented error, making them prime candidates for long-term investment. Real-life auction stories demonstrate just how remarkable even modern pennies can be. Collectors occasionally uncover 1988 pennies in rolls or jars of coins that display unusual die errors, extreme uncirculated condition, or perfect toning. For instance, a 1988 D penny with a dramatic doubled die on the obverse and flawless mint state quality could sell for several $1,000s at a specialized coin auction. Some coins are discovered in forgotten estates, bank vaults, or collections assembled decades ago, bringing new attention to coins that were once considered ordinary. The thrill of discovery, coupled with the possibility of rarity, fuels the excitement among collectors, making the 1988 penny more than just a 1-cent coin. It becomes a collectible treasure hunt in miniature form. Hypothetical scenarios also allow us to imagine how a 1988 penny could reach valuations approaching millions. Suppose a single penny were discovered with multiple extreme errors simultaneously, a severe off-center strike, a pronounced double die on both the date and liberty, and a unique lamination peel revealing a striking metallic contrast. Add to that an MS70 grading, an absolutely perfect coin with pristine surfaces and luster, and the result is a coin that is virtually one of a kind. In numismatics, rarity combined with perfection drives value exponentially. When such coins appear, collectors, museums, and investors are often willing to pay extraordinary sums to secure the piece, as its uniqueness and historical interest make it irreplaceable. In theory, such a coin could command a price in the multi-million-dollar range, especially if it captures public attention through media coverage or is featured in a high-profile auction. The Lincoln Cents design itself adds to the coin's allure. Victor David Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln is not merely a representation, it is an iconic symbol of integrity, leadership, and the enduring legacy of the 16th President of the United States. The intricate details, such as the subtle lines on Lincoln's face, the textured coat, and the carefully sculpted hair, reveal the skill and artistry involved in early 20th century coin design. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial offers another layer of detail, with its finely engraved columns, steps, and statue visible even on a coin just 19 millimeters in diameter. Collectors often examine these details with magnification, seeking the crispest examples where every column line is sharp, every letter perfectly struck, and the surfaces display original luster. These qualities are what separate a standard circulated penny from one with the potential for high valuation. Cultural and historical context also enhances the coin's significance. The 1988 penny circulated during a fascinating period in American history. It was a time when personal computing was becoming mainstream, music and pop culture were evolving rapidly, and the Cold War was approaching its final chapters. Each coin carries subtle imprints of its era, where patterns reflecting decades of circulation, environmental exposure affecting coloration, and even minor scratches or dents telling stories of the countless hands the coin passed through. Collectors often consider these life histories when assessing value, especially for coins that have remained in uncirculated condition, preserving the essence of the moment in which they were minted. Even beyond coins themselves, the 1988 penny has inspired educational content, YouTube videos, and collectible guides that explore minting processes, grading systems, and market dynamics. Detailed videos dissect the design, explain the significance of mint marks, and illustrate error types with magnified imagery, engaging audiences who may have previously dismissed pennies as trivial. By presenting the coin as both a historical artifact and a collectible investment, creators elevate the humble 1988 penny to a symbol of curiosity, knowledge, and potential wealth, attracting both numismatists and general audiences interested in rare objects and the stories they tell. Of this concludes Part 3, focusing on rare error types, grading, auction stories, and hypothetical extreme valuations that make the 1988 penny so fascinating. To truly appreciate the allure of the 1988 1-cent coin, it is useful to examine some of the most remarkable discoveries in auction cases, as these real-life stories illuminate why even a modern penny can become a highly prized collectible. Over the years, collectors have stumbled upon 1988 pennies and rolls of coins, forgotten change jars, or family collections, only to realize that they had in their hands a rare and extraordinary example. One such discovery involved a 1988 D penny with a severe doubled die obverse, where Lincoln's jawline and the Liberty inscription appeared sharply doubled. The coin was in mint state condition, retaining full luster, and upon verification by a professional grading service, it received an MS-66 rating. In specialized numismatic auctions, this coin achieved a price well above what one would expect for a modern penny, illustrating that rarity combined with pristine preservation can transform a common denomination into a coveted treasure. Another fascinating case involved a 1988 penny with an extreme off-center strike. The misalignment was so pronounced that nearly half of Lincoln's portrait was missing, revealing a blank area of copper-plated zinc. Such coins are exceedingly rare because modern minting machinery is highly precise, and most misaligned strikes are caught or corrected during production. This particular coin captured widespread attention when it appeared at an auction, with collectors drawn not only to its rarity but also to the striking visual drama of the off-center design. Coins like this remind us that the United States Mint, even in the late 20th century, could produce anomalies that become historically significant and highly collectible. Lamination errors provide yet another avenue for extraordinary value. While the majority of 1988 pennies adhered perfectly to the copper-plated zinc format, a small percentage suffered bonding defects, causing the copper layer to peel away from the zinc core. In rare cases, a penny may show a dramatic split along its surface, creating an eye-catching visual contrast between the reddish copper and the silver-colored zinc underneath. Collectors prize these coins for their uniqueness, and when paired with flawless surfaces and a top-grade mint state rating, lamination error pennies can sell for amounts that far exceed ordinary market expectations. Beyond individual anomalies, the grading of a 1988 penny is critical to understanding its market value. Coins are evaluated on wear, strike quality, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. A coin graded MS-67 or higher is extremely rare for modern Lincoln cents because of the inherent softness of the copper-plated zinc and the high circulation volume over decades. When a coin reaches this level of perfection and exhibits a notable error or rarity, it enters a league of its own, often attracting attention from top collectors, numismatic investment funds, and museums. Some investors even consider such coins as alternative assets, diversifying portfolios by including rare modern pennies whose scarcity and perfection may appreciate over time. The hypothetical scenarios in which a 1988 penny could achieve valuations approaching millions involve a combination of factors that are extraordinarily rare but theoretically possible. Imagine a coin with multiple pronounced errors, a dramatic doubled die on the obverse, a severe off-center strike, and a significant lamination peel. Now combine this with flawless MS-70 grading, exceptional eye appeal, and perhaps inclusion in a famous collection with verified provenance. In such a scenario, the coin becomes effectively one of a kind, a true numismatic marvel. Auctions for coins with these extreme characteristics have historically driven prices to levels that might seem unimaginable for a 1-cent piece, reinforcing the notion that rarity, perfection, and story drive value far beyond face denomination. Historical context further enhances the appeal of the 1988 penny. The late 1980s in America were marked by rapid technological change, cultural evolution, and economic shifts. The coin circulated during an era when personal computers were entering homes, music videos and pop culture phenomena were shaping global trends, and geopolitical events like the end stages of the Cold War defined world history. Holding a 1988 penny is like holding a tangible fragment of that period, an artifact that silently witnessed the everyday lives, transactions, and cultural moments of millions of Americans. For collectors, the historical narrative attached to a coin enhances its appeal and can influence the market value, particularly when combined with rarity and perfection. Numismatic research has also revealed subtle production variations that can affect collector interest. Some 1988 pennies exhibit slight differences in letter spacing, alignment, or relief depth due to the normal variations in die production and wear. While these differences are often imperceptible to the casual observer, experienced collectors and professional graders recognize that even minor variations can create collectible distinctions. Coins exhibiting unique features, whether accidental or within the range of die variability, are cataloged in detailed numismatic references, providing both a guide for collectors and a historical record of the coin's production. The allure of the 1988 penny also extends to educational content and storytelling. YouTube videos, coin blogs, and numismatic forums explore the minutiae of Lincoln cent production, error types, grading standards, and historical context. Content creators highlight the potential for remarkable discoveries, show examples of high-grade error coins, and offer guidance on identifying valuable specimens. These videos not only educate viewers about the technical aspects of coin collecting but also generate excitement by illustrating that even a seemingly ordinary penny can contain extraordinary secrets waiting to be discovered. The story-driven nature of these presentations helps to elevate the 1988 penny from a trivial piece of currency to a symbol of curiosity, discovery, and investment potential. Collectors also employ strategic methods to increase their chances of finding valuable 1988 pennies. Searching rolls from banks, examining coins from uncirculated sets, and carefully inspecting long-forgotten collections are common practices. Magnification, proper lighting, and knowledge of known error types allow collectors to distinguish between ordinary pennies and those with potential value. In some cases, simply identifying a coin with a slight die crack or minor off-center strike can yield a collectible that may appreciate significantly over time. The combination of skill, patience, and attention to detail transforms the act of coin collecting into both a hobby and a pursuit with tangible financial and historical rewards. Provenance is another critical factor in determining a coin's value. Coins that can be traced back to famous collections, significant discoveries, or notable auctions often command higher prices because they carry a story and a documented history. For example, a 1988 penny with a rare error, previously part of a celebrated collection and sold at a prominent auction house, may achieve an extraordinary valuation simply because its provenance adds credibility and prestige. Numismatists recognize that coins are not only objects but also artifacts with a chain of custody that enhances their collectability and potential market value. Finally, while the vast majority of 1988 pennies remain ordinary and hold only nominal face value, the potential for extraordinary valuation, such as a hypothetical $32 million scenario, stems from the convergence of multiple rare factors. Exceptional minting errors, flawless grading, striking visual appeal, historical significance, and prestigious provenance together create a coin of unparalleled uniqueness. While extremely rare, the theoretical possibility captures the imagination of collectors, historians, and investors alike, demonstrating that even a 1-cent piece can be transformed into a treasure of immense cultural and financial value. The 1988 1-cent coin occupies a unique space in the world of numismatics because it straddles the line between modern circulation and collectible rarity. While the coin was mass-produced, the existence of minting errors, perfect uncirculated examples, and subtle production variations means that some specimens are extraordinarily valuable. Understanding the broader market trends is crucial for appreciating how a humble penny could, under exceptional circumstances, command extraordinary prices. The market for modern pennies has evolved over the past decades, driven by collectors seeking error coins, historical enthusiasts interested in late 20th century artifacts, and investors exploring alternative assets. Demand for coins with exceptional traits has grown steadily, as the availability of high-grade examples naturally decreases over time due to circulation wear, accidental damage, and environmental effects. Comparing the 1988 penny to other high-value pennies helps contextualize its potential. Classic rarities, such as the 1909 SVDB penny or the 1943 copper penny, are famous for their scarcity and historical importance. The 1988 penny, while not inherently rare in its standard form, can approach similar levels of interest when it exhibits multiple rare traits. For example, a 1988 penny with a dramatic double die obverse, an extreme off-center strike, and lamination anomalies in perfect MS-70 condition could theoretically be valued in the same league as these historical rarities, particularly when considering the combination of modern scarcity, perfection, and visual drama. Collectors often compare such coins to earlier iconic pennies to assess potential market performance, with the knowledge that rarity, condition, and uniqueness drive the most significant premiums. Global interest in modern Lincoln cents has also contributed to the 1988 penny's appeal. Numismatic markets are no longer confined to the United States. Collectors from Europe, Asia, and the Middle East actively participate in auctions, seek rare coins, and invest in unique specimens. Coins that were once considered mundane in local circulation can attract international attention when rare errors or pristine condition are identified. In some cases, foreign collectors are willing to pay substantial premiums for modern pennies with unusual traits because these coins are not as readily available outside the US. This global demand adds another layer to the valuation potential, as competitive bidding can drive prices upward in ways that would not occur in a purely domestic market. Educational content and media exposure further enhance the perceived value of the 1988 penny. YouTube channels, coin blogs, and numismatic magazines often feature videos and articles highlighting the most remarkable modern pennies, including 1988 examples with notable errors. Such coverage not only educates viewers on identifying potential rarities but also raises awareness of the market value of these coins. For example, a video demonstrating a 1988 D penny with a pronounced double die and flawless luster could attract hundreds of thousands of views, generating excitement and creating a sense of urgency among collectors to search for similar examples. Media exposure like this can directly influence market trends by increasing demand and reinforcing the rarity narrative around specific coins. The investment potential of 1988 pennies is another fascinating aspect. While traditional investment assets include stocks, bonds, and precious metals, rare modern coins represent a unique niche. Investors recognize that certain coins, particularly those with multiple rare traits, are finite in quantity and possess both historical and aesthetic appeal. Over time, as top-grade examples become scarcer due to natural wear or loss, their market value tends to increase. This is particularly true for coins exhibiting visually striking errors, unique toning, or exceptional preservation. The combination of finite supply, rising demand, and historical interest creates a market where even a 1-cent coin can be perceived as a valuable investment, provided the coin is authentic, graded, and verifiably unique. The hypothetical path for a 1988 penny to reach an extraordinary valuation, such as the often discussed $32 million scenario, involves several compounding factors. First, the coin must exhibit multiple high-value traits simultaneously: a severe doubled die, a dramatic off-center strike, lamination anomalies, and perfect MS-70 grading. Second, the coin would need to be authenticated by top grading services, guaranteeing its perfection and rarity. Third, the coin would ideally be part of a highly publicized auction or collection with prestigious provenance, drawing competitive bidding from collectors and investors worldwide. Finally, media attention and historical storytelling surrounding the coin would further amplify its perceived value, creating an environment where record-breaking bids could become plausible. While such a scenario is extraordinarily rare, it is not entirely outside the realm of theoretical possibility. Particularly in a highly specialized and competitive numismatic market, collectors often employ advanced techniques to identify the highest value 1988 pennies. Coin rolls from banks, unopened mint sets, and long-forgotten family collections are prime sources. Magnification, proper lighting, and knowledge of specific error types enable collectors to spot subtle variations that indicate potential rarity. For example, identifying a minor doubling on the Liberty inscription or a faint off-center strike requires attention to detail and experience. Even coins that appear ordinary at first glance may reveal extraordinary characteristics upon careful examination. This detective-like aspect of coin collecting adds both excitement and value to the pursuit, as the discovery of a unique specimen can transform a mundane penny into a sought-after treasure. The role of provenance in elevating the 1988 penny's value cannot be overstated. Coins with documented history, such as prior inclusion in a famous collection, sale through a renowned auction house, or verification by a top grading service, carry additional credibility and prestige. Provenance reassures potential buyers of authenticity, enhances historical context, and can dramatically increase a coin's market price. In extreme cases, coins with exceptional errors, perfect grading, and prestigious provenance have been known to command prices exponentially higher than ordinary examples, reinforcing the importance of documentation and verified history in the numismatic market. Even the subtle aesthetics of the 1988 penny contribute to its appeal. Over time, coins develop toning, coloration changes, or patinas that reflect exposure to air, moisture, and handling. Some collectors prize these natural variations, particularly when they produce visually striking or uncommon effects. A 1988 penny with unique golden brown or reddish hues, for example, may be more desirable than a standard example, particularly when paired with exceptional strike quality and minimal wear. The interplay of design, metal composition, and aging results in an endless variety of appearances, ensuring that no two coins are truly identical, a factor that continues to captivate collectors and drive market interest. Finally, the 1988 penny exemplifies the broader story of numismatics as both a hobby and an investment. It demonstrates how even modern coins can possess historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and the potential for extraordinary value under rare circumstances. To further appreciate the value potential of the 1988 penny, it is essential to consider the highest value auction scenarios and how rare coins achieve record-breaking prices. While the majority of 1988 pennies remain in circulation at face value, coins exhibiting a combination of extreme errors, flawless preservation, and documented provenance can transform into numismatic treasures. Auction houses that specialize in coins, such as heritage auctions and Stacksbauers, occasionally handle modern pennies with extraordinary characteristics. These auctions attract serious collectors, professional numismatists, and international investors who recognize that rarity, perfection, and historical significance drive market value far beyond the nominal 1-cent face value point. One of the most intriguing aspects of high-value 1988 pennies is the interplay between multiple types of minting errors. For example, a hypothetical coin might exhibit a severe doubled die on Lincoln's face, an extreme off-center strike, and lamination peeling revealing the zinc core beneath the copper plating. Individually, each of these errors could make the coin collectible, but the simultaneous occurrence of all three creates a virtually unique specimen. When authenticated by top grading services and placed in a mint state 70 holder, such a coin would become an extraordinary item, likely to command record-breaking attention at auction. The rarity of such a coin is amplified not only by the number of surviving examples but also by the human fascination with objects that are one of a kind. Historical comparisons help contextualize the 1988 penny's potential value. Some early 20th century pennies, such as the 1909 SVDB Lincoln cent or the 1943 copper cent, have achieved valuations exceeding six figures due to extreme rarity, historical significance, and collector demand. While the 1988 penny is a modern coin, the principles are similar: scarcity, condition, uniqueness, and story drive value. If a 1988 penny were to display multiple exceptional traits combined with flawless grading, it could theoretically enter the same echelon as these classic rarities. The concept is not merely theoretical. Numismatic history demonstrates that previously mundane coins can achieve extraordinary valuations when unique factors align perfectly. Grading nuances play a critical role in maximizing the potential value of a 1988 penny. Coins are graded on criteria such as strike quality, luster, surface preservation, and eye appeal. Mint State 65 is considered excellent, MS 67 is extraordinary, and MS 70 represents perfection. Achieving MS 70 is extremely difficult for copper-plated zinc pennies due to the softness of the metal, susceptibility to scratches, and the effects of circulation and environmental exposure. Coins that reach MS 70 status, especially with unusual errors or exceptional visual appeal, are exceedingly rare and can attract immense collector interest. Grading not only certifies the coin's condition but also provides a standardized reference that allows collectors and investors worldwide to assess authenticity and quality reliably. Provenance further amplifies value. Coins with documented history, such as prior inclusion in prestigious collections, verified purchases from renowned auction houses, or certification by top grading services, command a premium. Provenance assures buyers of the coin's authenticity, historical context, and uniqueness. For example, a 1988 penny with multiple rare errors, perfect grading, and verified provenance from a famous collection could attract competitive bidding at auction, potentially reaching valuations far beyond what ordinary collectors would expect for a modern 1-cent coin. The story attached to the coin, how it was discovered, preserved, and verified, becomes part of the value equation, enhancing both desirability and price. Collectors employ strategic methods to uncover the most valuable 1988 pennies. Searching through unopened mint sets, rolls from banks, or long-forgotten personal collections increases the likelihood of discovering rare specimens. Detailed examination using magnification, proper lighting, and knowledge of known errors allows collectors to identify coins with potential premium value. Coins with subtle doubled dies, minor off-center strikes, faint die cracks, or unusual toning may initially appear ordinary but reveal extraordinary traits upon close inspection. The combination of patience, skill, and experience transforms the search into both a hobby and a potential investment, as discovering a rare coin can yield both historical satisfaction and financial reward. Hypothetical auction scenarios illustrate the extremes of valuation potential. Imagine a 1988 penny with multiple pronounced errors, perfect MS 70 grading, exceptional eye appeal, and verified provenance. Such a coin could be placed in a high-profile auction alongside other rare modern coins, attracting bidding from collectors and investors worldwide. The competitive environment, combined with media coverage and the rarity of the specimen, could drive the final sale price to extraordinary levels, potentially reaching multi-million-dollar valuations. While rare, these scenarios demonstrate how even modern pennies can achieve what many would consider record-breaking prices under the right circumstances. The aesthetic qualities of a 1988 penny contribute significantly to its appeal. Over decades, coins develop unique coloration, toning, and patina as the copper-plated zinc interacts with environmental elements. Collectors often prize these visual variations, particularly when they enhance the coin's eye appeal. A coin with a rich golden brown hue, sharp design details, and flawless surfaces can stand out dramatically from the millions of ordinary circulated pennies. These aesthetic qualities, combined with rare errors and perfect grading, elevate a coin from a simple piece of currency to a coveted collectible with both historical and investment value. Global market dynamics also play a role in determining a coin's potential value. Collectors from around the world actively seek modern U.S. pennies with rare traits, and international bidding can amplify final sale prices. Coins that may be relatively common in domestic circulation can become highly sought after abroad due to scarcity, aesthetic appeal, and novelty. This global demand creates a competitive environment that drives premiums, particularly for coins with multiple desirable characteristics, flawless grading, and verified provenance. Finally, the 1988 penny serves as a compelling example of how modern coins can bridge history, artistry, and investment potential. From Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Lincoln and the detailed Lincoln Memorial to the rare minting anomalies, grading intricacies, and global collector interest, the coin embodies a rich narrative that extends far beyond its 1-cent face value. Through careful study, strategic collecting, and an appreciation for both history and aesthetics, collectors and investors alike recognize that a seemingly ordinary penny can, under extraordinary circumstances, transform into a highly valuable treasure, potentially commanding remarkable sums in the numismatic market. To understand the extreme value potential of a 1988 1-cent coin, it is helpful to examine real-life case studies and stories of record-breaking pennies. While number 1988 penny has literally sold for tens of millions, extraordinary examples of modern Lincoln cents demonstrate how rare coins can achieve unexpected valuations. One notable example involved a modern Lincoln cent discovered in the early 2000s with a dramatic doubled die on the date and Liberty inscription. The coin had been kept in an untouched mint set since its release, preserving its original luster and surfaces. When authenticated in graded MS66, it achieved a price several thousand times its face value at auction. While this example is not as extreme as a hypothetical $32 million valuation, it illustrates the principle that rarity, condition, and documented history can elevate even a modern penny to extraordinary significance in the collector's market. Another fascinating story involves a collector who discovered a 1988 D penny with a significant off-center strike. Initially, the coin appeared ordinary, but upon close examination with magnification, the dramatic misalignment revealed that nearly half of Lincoln's portrait was missing. Once authenticated and graded, this coin became highly sought after, with multiple collectors bidding aggressively for its acquisition. Stories like this demonstrate the thrill of discovery in numismatics. A coin long overlooked in circulation can suddenly become a rare and valuable collectible when its unique traits are recognized and verified. Authentication is a critical step in ensuring the value of any high-end 1988 penny. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC assess coins for originality, strike quality, surface preservation, and potential errors. Authentication ensures that the coin is genuine, free from tampering or alteration, and accurately graded according to standardized criteria. Without this certification, even a coin with rare traits may fail to command its potential market value. For example, a coin with a subtle double die or lamination error may be dismissed by casual collectors if it is not verified by an expert, whereas professional authentication provides confidence to buyers and ensures competitive bidding in auctions. Collectors often combine multiple rare traits to maximize value. Imagine a 1988 penny that simultaneously exhibits a severe doubled die, an extreme off-center strike, and lamination anomalies exposing the zinc core beneath the copper plating. If preserved in flawless MS70 condition, with sharp design details, perfect surfaces, and rich, visually appealing toning, this coin would be effectively one of a kind. Such an item could become the centerpiece of a high-profile auction, attracting global collectors and investors. The combination of rarity, perfection, and provenance would elevate the coin to legendary status in numismatic circles, with prices potentially reaching extraordinary figures in the multi-million-dollar range. Historical context further enhances the coin's appeal. The 1988 penny circulated during a fascinating era in American history, bridging the late 20th century with cultural, technological, and economic developments. Personal computers were entering homes, music and entertainment culture was expanding globally, and geopolitical events such as the final stages of the Cold War were shaping the world. Holding a 1988 penny is like holding a miniature piece of this era, connecting collectors to a tangible artifact of late 20th century life. Each coin carries subtle signs of its journey, where from circulation, environmental toning, or even minor scratches that tell stories of everyday transactions and historical context. Collectors also analyze minute production details to identify potential high-value coins. Slight variations in letter spacing, design depth, or die alignment can indicate unique production runs or anomalies. Experienced numismatists recognize that even subtle differences can dramatically affect collectability. A 1988 penny with a minor doubling on the Liberty inscription, faint die cracks along Lincoln's coat, or slightly misaligned columns on the Lincoln Memorial could be worth significantly more than a standard circulated penny. These details require careful inspection with magnification and proper lighting, highlighting the detective-like skill involved in serious coin collecting. Hypothetical auction scenarios for a $32 million 1988 penny involve a combination of factors that would make the coin virtually unparalleled. The coin would need to display multiple rare traits: dramatic doubled dies, extreme off-center strikes, lamination anomalies, flawless MS-70 grading, visually striking toning, and verification by top professional grading services. Added to this would be prestigious provenance, perhaps inclusion in a famous collection or prior high-profile auction appearance, along with global media coverage generating competitive bidding from international collectors and investors. While such a coin remains hypothetical, the scenario illustrates how extraordinary value is created in numismatics. Rarity, perfection, history, and desirability intersect to produce record-breaking results. Collectors also take note of environmental effects that influence value. Copper-plated zinc coins like the 1988 penny are susceptible to toning, oxidation, and minor surface imperfections. Coins with unique patinas, rich golden brown coloration, or subtle iridescence are often more visually appealing and may command higher prices, especially when paired with rare minting errors and flawless surfaces. Even minute differences in color and surface texture contribute to a coin's eye appeal, affecting both collector interest and market valuation. Global interest plays a significant role in the potential value of rare modern pennies. Collectors and investors from Europe, Asia, and the Middle East actively participate in U.S. coin auctions, seeking coins with unique errors, flawless condition, and aesthetic appeal. International competition drives final sale prices higher than domestic demand alone would support, making rare 1988 pennies with multiple desirable traits highly attractive in a worldwide market. The convergence of rarity, perfection, provenance, and global bidding creates an environment where even a 1-cent coin can theoretically achieve multi-million-dollar valuations under extraordinary circumstances. Finally, the 1988 penny serves as a fascinating example of how modern coins can be more than simple currency. They are historical artifacts, works of art, and potential investments. From Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Lincoln to the detailed Lincoln Memorial, from minting errors and grading nuances to global collector demand, the coin encapsulates history, craftsmanship, and rarity in a small, unassuming object. Through careful observation, strategic collecting, and an understanding of numismatic principles, collectors and investors recognize that even a modern penny can become a legendary treasure, capable of commanding remarkable attention and extraordinary valuations in the numismatic market. To fully understand the 1988 penny's value potential, it is important to compare it with other high-value Lincoln cents. Coins like the 1909 SVDB, the 1914D, and the 1943 copper penny are legendary in numismatic circles due to their extreme rarity, historical importance, and collector demand. While these coins were minted during a time when production numbers were lower and quality control less precise, the 1988 penny can achieve comparable interest under exceptional circumstances. For example, a 1988 penny exhibiting multiple minting anomalies, perfect MS-70 grading, and exceptional toning could rival the desirability of these historical rarities. The key difference is that, unlike older pennies, modern coins offer a higher likelihood of discovery in collections, bankrolls, or mint sets, making the hunt for rare 1988 specimens both exciting and potentially lucrative. Market fluctuations also play a critical role in determining the value of 1988 pennies. Numismatic prices are influenced by collector demand, auction exposure, global interest, and the rarity of high-grade coins. While ordinary circulated pennies have remained at face value for decades, coins with errors, perfect grading, and exceptional visual appeal have seen their prices rise steadily. For instance, a 1988 D penny with a dramatic double die obverse that would have sold for a few $100s in the early 2000s could now fetch several $1,000s at auction, demonstrating how collector interest and market conditions compound value over time. Awareness of market trends, combined with knowledge of rare varieties, is crucial for anyone looking to capitalize on the potential of high-value modern pennies. Storytelling from record-breaking auctions further highlights the 1988 penny's potential. Consider a hypothetical auction scenario: a 1988 penny with a dramatic off-center strike, severe double die, and lamination anomalies is presented to collectors at a premier numismatic auction house. Experts showcase the coin under bright lighting and magnification, illustrating every detail of its unique errors. The auction catalog includes high-resolution images, grading certification, and a detailed history of the coin's discovery. As the bidding begins, competitive collectors and investors from around the world enter the fray. Each bid escalates the price, reflecting the rarity, perfection, and story attached to the coin. In this scenario, the 1988 penny is transformed from ordinary currency into a highly desirable collectible commanding extraordinary attention and potentially record-breaking prices. Collectors employ specific strategies to discover high-value 1988 pennies. One common approach is meticulously searching rolls from banks or recently unwrapped mint sets. Coins from original mint packaging have the advantage of minimal circulation and pristine surfaces, increasing the likelihood of finding errors or exceptional uncirculated examples. Magnification tools and proper lighting are essential to identify subtle anomalies, such as faint doubling on letters, minor off-center strikes, or minor die cracks. Even small variations in strike depth, metal coloration, or edge definition can indicate a coin worthy of further examination. Experienced collectors often develop a systematic approach, tracking known error types, recording discoveries, and consulting professional guides or databases to verify potential rarities. When it comes to selling or auctioning high-value 1988 pennies, presentation is critical. Professional authentication and grading are non-negotiable for maximizing value. Top-tier grading services provide detailed certification, ensuring buyers of the coin's authenticity and condition. Auction houses often photograph coins in high resolution, provide detailed descriptions of known anomalies, and highlight visual appeal through storytelling. Coins that are presented effectively, with verified grading and documented rarity, attract competitive bidding and achieve significantly higher prices than coins lacking professional validation. Toning and surface aesthetics further influence the market. Copper-plated zinc coins like the 1988 penny naturally develop coloration and patina over time. Coins with unique golden-brown hues, reddish iridescence, or visually striking contrasts between copper and exposed zinc attract collector interest. When combined with rare errors and high-grade surfaces, aesthetic appeal can significantly elevate a coin's market value. Collectors often seek coins that are not only historically and technically rare but also visually stunning, creating an emotional connection that enhances desirability. Global interest amplifies the potential value of exceptional 1988 pennies. Collectors and investors from Europe, Asia, and the Middle East participate in U.S. coin auctions, seeking rare examples of modern Lincoln cents. The combination of scarcity, rarity, and global demand creates competitive bidding environments where extraordinary coins can achieve valuations far beyond domestic expectations. International collectors are particularly interested in coins with unique traits and flawless grading, knowing that such specimens are effectively irreplaceable. Finally, the 1988 penny illustrates how a modern coin can transcend its nominal value. Through minting errors, flawless grading, aesthetic appeal, historical context, and collector demand, a single 1-cent coin can become a rare and highly valuable collectible. The intersection of discovery, authentication, auction storytelling, and market dynamics demonstrates that even a modern penny has the potential to captivate collectors and investors alike, creating excitement, engagement, and, in rare cases, extraordinary financial outcomes. To imagine how a 1988 penny could hypothetically achieve a $32 million valuation, it is necessary to consider a combination of factors that converge in extraordinarily rare circumstances. First, the coin would need to exhibit multiple high-value traits. Imagine a 1988 penny with a dramatic double die on both the date and the Liberty inscription. Lincoln's profile appears almost three-dimensional, with exaggerated lines along the jaw, cheek, and forehead, creating a shadowed effect that is impossible to replicate. Next, consider an extreme off-center strike where a portion of Lincoln's portrait and parts of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse are missing or shifted. This misalignment would be so pronounced that it immediately signals rarity to experienced collectors. Add a lamination error that reveals patches of the underlying zinc core, creating a striking copper and silver contrast across the surface. Individually, each error is valuable. Together, they create a coin that is effectively one of a kind. Of flawless mint state grading is critical to achieving maximum potential value. An MS-70 grade is considered perfection: no scratches, no discoloration, no surface imperfections, and full original luster intact. Achieving this level on a copper-plated zinc coin is extremely rare, given the metal's susceptibility to scratches, wear, and environmental exposure. Professional grading by organizations such as PCGS or NGC certifies authenticity and preserves the coin in a protective slab, assuring potential buyers of its pristine condition. The combination of unique minting anomalies and perfect grading exponentially increases desirability and theoretical market value. Provenance plays another essential role. Coins with well-documented histories command higher prices because their authenticity and story are verified. Imagine this hypothetical 1988 penny having been discovered in an untouched mint set decades after release, stored carefully in a safe or hidden collection. The coin is authenticated, documented, and included in a high-profile auction alongside other rare coins. Media coverage highlights the coin's unique characteristics, creating global awareness and competitive bidding. Provenance adds credibility and prestige, turning an already extraordinary coin into a legendary artifact. Auction dynamics are pivotal in maximizing value. Consider a scenario where this one-of-a-kind 1988 penny is listed in a world-renowned numismatic auction house, with high-resolution photography, detailed descriptions of the errors, and certified MS-70 grading. Bidders from the United States, Europe, Asia, and the Middle East compete aggressively, driven by the rarity, perfection, and global media attention surrounding the coin. Each bid escalates in rapid succession, fueled by the knowledge that the coin is unique and irreplaceable. In such a high-profile auction, record-breaking bids could hypothetically propel the sale price to unprecedented levels, potentially approaching figures like $32 million. Collector strategies are also integral to discovering and verifying such rare coins. Serious collectors routinely search bankrolls, unopened mint sets, and long-forgotten personal collections. They examine coins with magnification and proper lighting, checking for subtle errors like doubled dies, die cracks, faint off-center strikes, or minor lamination issues. Even small variations in letter spacing, alignment, or strike depth can indicate a coin with significant value. Experienced collectors often maintain detailed records of known error types, cross-referencing with professional guides or online databases to confirm potential rarities. Discovery requires patience, meticulous attention to detail, and sometimes sheer luck. Aesthetic appeal significantly contributes to a coin's market value. Over decades, copper-plated zinc pennies naturally develop toning, coloration, and patina. Coins with rich golden-brown hues, reddish iridescence, or striking contrasts between copper and exposed zinc attract collector interest, particularly when paired with multiple errors and flawless surfaces. These visual qualities enhance the emotional and historical appeal of the coin, making it not just rare, but also visually compelling. Collectors are often drawn to coins that are as beautiful as they are unique, increasing demand and potential sale prices. Global market participation further magnifies potential value. International collectors and investors actively bid on U.S. pennies with rare errors, flawless grading, and exceptional aesthetics. Competitive global bidding ensures that high-profile coins can reach extraordinary valuations, as collectors from diverse markets vie for the same one-of-a-kind specimen. This international interest, combined with media coverage and documented provenance, creates an environment where a modern penny could theoretically achieve record-breaking prices previously reserved for historical rarities. Finally, the 1988 penny exemplifies how modern coins bridge history, artistry, and investment potential. Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Lincoln and the Lincoln Memorial design are meticulously detailed, and when combined with rare minting errors, flawless preservation, and aesthetic toning, the coin becomes a historical artifact, an artistic miniature, and a potential investment all at once. The narrative of discovery, authentication, auction excitement, and global competition elevates a 1-cent coin into a symbol of rarity, beauty, and financial intrigue. Even though a $32 million sale remains hypothetical, the principles that could make it possible, rarity, perfection, provenance, and market dynamics, are firmly rooted in numismatic reality. To fully conclude the story of the 1988 1-cent coin, it is helpful to compare it to other high-value modern pennies, highlighting why collectors and investors find it so compelling. Modern coins such as the 1995 double die obverse penny, the 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf penny, and certain 2000 and 2008 Lincoln cents with off-center strikes or die cracks are often considered highly collectible. Like these coins, a 1988 penny with multiple errors, especially when paired with flawless MS-70 grading, can rival these famous modern rarities in both desirability and potential market value. What sets the 1988 penny apart is its combination of historical context, design intricacy, and the possibility of multiple simultaneous anomalies, making it an exciting pursuit for collectors who thrive on discovery. Collector psychology is another fascinating element in understanding the market. Rare coins like the 1988 penny trigger a mix of emotional and intellectual engagement. The thrill of discovering a one-of-a-kind specimen, the satisfaction of verifying a coin's authenticity, and the anticipation of high-profile auctions combine to create a compelling collector experience. Humans are naturally drawn to rarity, uniqueness, and history, and the 1988 penny embodies all three. Even small details, like subtle doubling on letters, faint off-center strikes, or unusual toning, can create a profound emotional response, enhancing perceived value beyond what traditional market factors might suggest. Auction storytelling also plays a significant role in maximizing value. Consider a hypothetical high-profile auction, a 1988 penny with dramatic double dies, a severe off-center strike, and a lamination anomaly is presented to the world. The auction catalog features magnified photographs, historical context, and a narrative tracing the coin's journey from mint production to discovery in a long-forgotten collection. Bidders are guided through the story of rarity, perfection, and global interest, creating anticipation and excitement. As competitive bidding escalates, the coin's value is reinforced not just by its technical qualities but also by the story that accompanies it, demonstrating how narrative can significantly enhance market perception and sale outcomes. Investment strategies for exceptional modern pennies focus on identification, authentication, preservation, and market timing. Serious collectors often maintain systematic searches for coins in bankrolls, mint sets, and private collections. Once a rare coin is found, professional grading ensures authenticity and preserves the coin's condition. High-value coins are carefully stored in protective holders, monitored for environmental stability, and tracked for potential auction opportunities. Collectors and investors consider historical sales data, global collector demand, and market timing to maximize value, understanding that patience and expertise are often as important as discovery in achieving exceptional outcomes. The 1988 penny also demonstrates the interplay between design, history, and collectability. Victor David Brenner's Lincoln portrait and the Lincoln Memorial reverse are not merely functional, they are works of art. Minute details in the design, such as the texture of Lincoln's hair, the sculpted lines of his coat, and the columns of the memorial, contribute to the coin's aesthetic appeal. When these design elements are preserved in uncirculated condition and paired with rare errors or anomalies, they become central to the coin's visual and collectible significance. A coin that combines artistry, history, and technical rarity stands out in auctions and collections alike. Finally, the story of the 1988 penny illustrates a broader principle in numismatics: value is rarely intrinsic. While most pennies remain at face value, extraordinary examples, whether through error, condition, or uniqueness, can transform into prized collectibles capable of generating excitement, historical appreciation, and significant financial interest. By understanding minting processes, error types, grading standards, aesthetic appeal, and market dynamics, collectors and investors can identify coins with exceptional potential. In this sense, the 1988 penny is more than a 1-cent piece, it is a microcosm of numismatic intrigue, historical preservation, and the human fascination with rarity and perfection. In conclusion, the 1988 1-cent coin represents a remarkable intersection of history, artistry, rarity, and market potential. Through its minting errors, aesthetic qualities, grading possibilities, and global collector interest, it demonstrates how even a modern penny can transcend its face value to become a highly sought-after collectible. Whether through discovery in a forgotten collection, authentication and grading, or presentation at a high-profile auction, the 1988 penny captures the imagination of collectors and investors alike. While the idea of a $32 million 1988 penny remains hypothetical, The principles behind its potential value, rarity, perfection, provenance, storytelling, and global demand, are firmly grounded in numismatic reality, making it one of the most fascinating coins of the modern era.